Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. I'm just wondering what happened to the sound there right quick. Let me get things straightened up here. And hope everybody's doing all right. What is going on? There we go. Hopefully. Hey Clay, can you hear me? I just want to make sure. Oh, for goodness sakes. Trying to get things straightened out here. All right, we're pinned to the top. And here comes Bill. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yeah,
I don't know. The sound stopped on me here right quick, and I'm trying to get my there. Trying to get it situated here. Sometimes my screen just doesn't cooperate.
Yeah, I went to log on tonight and I thought YouTube had closed my account out when I opened everything up.
Really?
Yeah. Had no account, no nothing.
What happened?
It had logged me out. I don't know how I did it, but it logged me out and I had to log back in.
Okay.
I couldn't even see my regular YouTube channel that I watch.
Okay. I tried for it to contact me on the YouTube side when I'm on StreamYard, but it seems like to me there is this hour-long delay. Or, that, oh, it finally pops up on my phone about a half an hour later. I'm like, what the deal here, And and that kind of stuff. So anyway, hey everybody, good to see y'all. Another Friday night bee chat. And I want to say hey to Randy and Jonathan and Keith and hey Mike and Bundy. And let's see who else we got in here. We got Billy Lee and Clay, of course. And there's Miss Beehive and Mike down there.
Yeah,
Keith's in here. Misbehaving, but it isn't. Hey, Chris. And who else we got here? We did miss. Hey, Randy.
We got Keith and Jonathan Stevens.
Hey, Roy.
And Clay.
I think I got everybody here.
Yeah, I think you
There's
got
Tom.
it.
Hey, Tom. So anyway, well, it's been another. Hey, there comes Ryan in. There he is. And Darren. So been another week. It's been on the cold side, of course. Had a few flight days here this week. And it's supposed to be 75 to 80 degrees tomorrow for the next couple of days.
Yep.
And all that. And it's supposed to get kind of rainy. And hey, Todd, Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a long time. Hey, and hey, Randy, and hey, Norman, Jason, Steve, and Tytrone, and all that. So anyway, um, I did I think I might have said something on your show Monday night. I went out and I did a Formic Pro, or not Formic Pro, oxalic acid on Sunday of last week. It was about 47 degrees. And I went out there Tuesday. And also prior to that, I went out there and hey, Mike, you see, you caught your bees doing what?
Practice swarming.
Swarming some cells, huh? 89 degrees. My goodness.
Good.
Out there in Arkansas.
Well, I guess it's about that time out there anyway.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I finished my splitting just before all the rain today. Okay, you all had rain. We need some rain here bad.
Yeah, we had rain today here.
Well, it's raining a little bit out there tonight. I mean, a little bit's better than nothing.
Yeah. And it was in the mid 70s here today.
And then the cells everywhere, just not capped yet, thankfully. That's good.
Yeah.
And I seen Cajun Brad down there. He had a ton of swarm cells.
Yeah.
He had some kicking hives down there, and they were fine looking hives on the last couple of videos.
Yeah, my brother's supposed to get 8 inches of snow in Vermont tonight.
There he is. Here's Brad. Yeah, you just finished putting 10 nukes together. No wonder all them bees you had in that video down there.
Yeah.
That was some powerful looking hives you had down there, especially the ones with the darn queen cells.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that. Hey, Dodd. And
there's Russell.
Hey, Russell. Yeah. So anyway, before I did my OA vape, I pulled the chloroplast boards out. They were pretty trashed up, and some of them were on the moldy side. Should have got their babies a little sooner. Scraped all that stuff off, got them cleaned up really nice, and that kind of thing. And hey, Mike, and hey, Vincent, and put them back in. Did my OA treatment last Sunday. It was, they were flying a little bit, but not much. And they were bringing some pollen in too. And hey, Sarah. And so I went back after Tuesday evening around 4:30 or so. And I pulled every chloroplast board out from every 10 frame hive, and I seen 0 mites drop.
Cool.
And all that. So, I mean, they're possible. I'm sure that, I know they're making brood. So, yes, there's probably mites under the brood cappings for sure, but there's always thoracic mites. So if I don't see any thoracic mites, my mite treatment program, I would assume, is doing a very good job.
Hey, JT.
Hey, Barry King. And let's see. So that's one good thing that's come up this week. And did that. Anybody wants to come in, the link is pinned. Yeah. And hey, there, Ryan, he's 2 hours south of me. Did mite washes.
Yeah, got all zeros.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're gonna do Formic tomorrow. It's supposed to be 84 degrees here tomorrow, so we're going to dig down in some hives and start checking around and digging around. I got my eye on a couple double deeps. I got them cooking for cell builders. So, and then I've got my eye on a couple of bigger hives for over there for bees.
Hey, Jack.
How accurate is a Dawn and water solution? It's pretty accurate and it does a real good job.
You like that better than alcohol?
Yep. I think it kills them quicker than the alcohol does.
You want me to send it to you there, Mike? Or Bill? Here comes Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Charlie.
Hey.
I've heard the pink windshield washer fluid before too, Peabody.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, I've heard of that before. That's a lower alcohol content than the rest of them. The blue windshield washer fluid's got a higher alcohol content. Hi, Dinah.
So is which one you say, the pink is better or the blue is better than with higher alcohol?
The blue's got the higher alcohol content in it. Yeah, it depends on what kind of vodka it is, Thomas. If it's Smirnoff and it's not flavored, I mean, yeah, any of it's good. Just don't drink it when you're done, unless you strain it first.
There you go.
So yeah, we're putting on formic. It's supposed to be, I think, the lowest temperature this coming week. The first partial week of April is 36, and then when we get into April here in the valley, and when I say in the valley here in April, I don't mean the entire valley from north to south. I mean just where I'm located, and it's like the central part of the valley. It's the first full week of April. It's supposed to be cold every night that week. So,
yeah, I did a deep dive on 8 of my hives today. All the ones I thought were the biggest, and I already know 2 of them I'm going to have to split probably in 3 weeks, by the second week of April.
Yeah. Hey, Dinah.
They'll have swarm cells soon.
21st Bees, Michael, just go ahead and I guess just go to your website, 21stbees.com, and he wants Bill and me to send him his contact info.
okay.
We can do that.
Yep.
And if you want to, you can actually come into the chat.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
James.
So remember the other night, Monday night, Randy was saying he wanted, samples. Well, I sent him a care package on Tuesday, and he got it today. So he got his care package. So it had some other stuff in it besides what he was looking for. So put it to good use.
And here we go. Dinah here. She's a neighbor, a friend and a club member of the Baltimore Bee Club. No bites as of last week, and tomorrow is starting splits. I got the same thing, Dinah. I did OA over the weekend, checked them on a Tuesday, 0 mite drops and all that. So everything is looking good as far as. And Dinah is the one that told me that when her hives get a little bit pissy, she gives them some OA and calms them right down.
Hey, Randy, the white bars that were in there are the fondant bars that John was talking about that have the apis in them, the super fuel bars.
Hey, Sandy. What's that? Some of that super DFM stuff?
No, it's the super fuel bars. Yeah. I put a lot of stuff in there for him. So
That's cool.
I noticed all my pollen patties were gone in all the hives.
really,
Yeah. So
Well, aren't you getting pollen in now, Tom?
yeah, but as of 3 weeks ago, most of them hadn't hardly touched it, but now they woofed it down just in the last 3 weeks. I put it
yeah, I
in
got
about
cherry
the third
trees
week of
blooming here.
February, and they didn't touch it. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of pollen coming in frames of brood.
Yeah, I'm getting nectar coming in too.
Yeah. I think in another week I'll be putting one medium super on.
Yep.
When those 4 or 5 frames of brood emerge out in the next couple of weeks, those hives are going triple. Repeat.
So anyway, what do we got here?
An argument about putting bananas in hives.
Oh, I've heard
Yeah.
that stuff for years.
Yeah, I have too.
And it's
Yeah.
a bunch of idiotic garbage. You know, it's just a bunch of beginner beekeeper type things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see a commercial guy. Well, I say a commercial guy, like a sideliner type guy who had like probably 200 hives in England, and he would cut a banana in half and put it on all his hives whenever they were getting, like we do fondant and stuff, like when they're getting close to starving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, they'll eat anything when they get close to starving.
he had a backload truck full of bananas, and he was cutting them all and putting them on his hives.
He probably gets them for free or something from a contact or family.
Yeah.
Probably so.
I put out 11 swarm traps in the last few days.
Had any bites
Usually the
yet?
first swarms come for me in my area first week of April, third to the 5th, out every year.
I put out one, and I got good news and bad news. Good news is, as soon as I put it out, they started checking it out every day. The bad news is in my yard. I went there today, and there was about 10 of them inside checking it out.
Well, I went in all my 8 dead outs and pulled any frames that had honey in it and put it in my other hives just to have a little bit of honey to start the honey process.
Yeah.
I had about 20 frames or so that still had honey in them.
I put on a couple of supers on some of the big ones because they're bringing in some clover right now.
Yeah. I forget how far you are ahead of us, Brad.
Yeah. 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
At least a month.
Probably about 6 to 8 weeks.
I just had dandelions really starting to come out today. And it's supposed to rain late tomorrow, and then we're supposed to get storms on Sunday,
Yeah, I haven't seen
possibly
any.
severe storms.
You can have them.
We're in the high risk area for Sunday right now. It always happens right around the last few days of March to the first 10 days of April. That's when we get our F5 tornadoes, 300 mile per hour and half a mile wide, 3 or 4 football fields, quarter-mile wide.
So do you think it's? I'm considering putting honey sippers on tomorrow, at least one, more so for space and
Swarm prevention.
swarm prevention.
Yeah.
And I haven't been in my hives at all as far as any deep dig, and or a deep dive into them. There's lots of bees in those hives. I'm just thinking, well, I got Bill's having his thing here at the end of the month, and then I might have to go to Georgia. I mean, I know I got to go to Georgia sometime. I'm just hoping it's before the darn grafting class. And yeah, Mike, I just sent it. It's through your work email. So
Yeah.
anyway, um, let's see, Don.
One thing I did today, I made sure the queen was in the bottom box on every hive,
Yeah.
so they can store honey on at least the top part.
I tried doing that last week because I wanted to isolate my queens on all the double deeps that I'm pulling those nucs out of.
Mm-hmm.
And those new queens are laying up so much. I put the queen down below and left her frames to lay on and stuff. And when I went back in there today to pull those queens and pull, 5 good frames for the nuke, that was swarm cells in some of them. They putting her in one box. It didn't. She filled up so fast that they started making swarm cells.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever find that queen that you couldn't find in the video?
No, never found her. And they were so full of bees.
I know. I mean, every darn thing was just, loaded.
Yeah, it was.
That last box where you put that queen cell in, that had to make a queen because you even said it was a quiet box.
Yeah, but I couldn't find her for nothing.
Yeah,
they
was
were all,
hiding.
they were all supposed to be marked, and either it rubbed off or for some reason they might have superseded her. And she
Are they
wasn't
black
marked.
queens?
Yeah, some of them are black.
You get them black girls in there, and you can't find them for nothing.
No,
They're
and
tough.
she had those two those two 8-frame double deeps that was sitting side by side, and you seen one of them was ended up being one that I missed. It was a red dot queen. Well, the new queen had 13 frames of brood out of 16 frames.
Jesus.
The old queen had 3 in the top, and there were small sections of brood and 3 in the bottom.
Yeah, and I looked at that pattern on them, that old queen.
Yeah,
and she kind of had like a shotgun pattern, unless
yeah,
they were laying, unless there were
starting,
eggs in there, and they had a hatch, and she relayed up or not. I don't know.
Well, she was relaying, but still the pattern size was small, and it was missing. Where the other queen, it was like from in the frame to in the frame, no honey or nothing, just solid on
Just
a lot
brood.
of it. Yeah, just brood. And I'm
So
seeing that with a lot of the nukes.
Yeah, that kind of tells me. I mean, I know Brad, you requeen every year, and I'm like, a lot of your commercial guys, that's what they do every year, is requeen. Hey, Mike, I'm wondering whether that's really the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I do, Charlie. I requeen every year.
Yeah.
At least I try to.
Yeah.
I got me
I got one. I got one queen I'm going to pinch once I start grafting and have birds and queens. She made it through winter, but she's a dud.
I've got a different method I'm gonna try this year because it was kind of hard last year. I didn't mark the emergency queens, so it gets kind of hard to find them in the summertime when you got a lot of bees. So I bought me
Right.
two pins. I bought a light blue pin and I bought a dark blue pin. So I'm gonna mark all my spring, like all my emergency queens, either light or dark, and then I'll mark the others different than when I uh, make queens in the summer. Because I don't want to be selling the queens that they making right now.
Well, you had that one nuke air, I guess well, you were doing splits is what I'm thinking of. You
Yeah.
had that fresh queen overwintered, but never seen a honey uh, production
Mhm.
year. And she's being sold. And then you said let them make that queen. What time of year or are they making that queen that I guess this time of year, I guess, really in the
Yeah.
spring.
Hmm.
And she'll go through the honey crop.
Yeah.
And then you
And
can get rid.
rid
What
of her
month
in
do you get rid of her down there?
yeah.
What
And
month do you do that?
yeah. It's gonna be they could all be different stages. You know, I start like in July and finish in August or late June, like when the honey flow is over with,
Right.
I'll start because I only do so many at one time. So they all are a couple of weeks behind because I let them stay in the I got those little three framers and make sure they got a decent pattern before I actually put them into the big hive.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, Tiny
But
Creek.
even when I put them into the big hives, they don't never. They got great brood patterns, but since the summer's coming to an end, they only stay on like three frames of brood. They don't do like wall to wall like they do it now in the spring.
No, just trying to kind of get an idea.
And another thing too, what it does that um I noticed all the ones that like I sold last year and requeen this year, and all my nukes very low mites because of all the brood breaks. My older hives, like that one that I had the problem with, that's a hive that didn't get requeened. She was an emergency queen and she stayed all year long. She never got a brood break, and they didn't take the chemical down like they were supposed to. They just propylized around it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why they had such a high mite count. Where like they getting a brood break right now. All my nukes are getting a brood break right now because they're requeening, and then they're gonna get another brood break in July.
Now in July, what are you doing? Putting cells in?
I'm gonna do I'm gonna do mated queens because I'm gonna use my little mating nukes to
Right, you're going to graft. I thought.
yeah, I'm a graft, but I'm gonna pinch that queen ahead, the old queen ahead of time,
Oh
and
yeah,
let them.
pincher for. I always, give it. You want to give yourself. Hey, Kathy. Um, you want to pinch her.
A week ahead of time,
About
6 days.
7 days ahead of time. That way you can go in there and kill all the
Kill all
damn
the
queen
cells.
cells.
Yeah, it
All
helps.
ourselves.
I find it helps accept them more when they ain't got a chance of making a queen cell.
Yep. So do you when you pinch her, do you lay her on the frame?
Nah, I toss her in the weeds.
I've heard some folks talking about that. Where folks up in Pennsylvania talk about either smash her on the frame. That way, her pheromones they know she's dead and all that kind of stuff. Or you lay her on the frame or the front door and say, hey, pay your respect as you're going through. And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, when you squish her, you need to get some queen pheromone and just lay in the brood box somewhere. That way they won't create any queen cells.
I mean, I'm sure they can see. I'm doing it right there in front of them.
Yeah, well, they got to go by smell. So Kathy B, you're down there in the Shenandoah Valley there. I guess things are getting warm down that way too with you, along with Bill. Oh, she sent you a picture of Messenger.
It is the end of March.
Yeah, it is, and that's why user for clean Lord Darren said, yeah, we could do that too. Mike
Yeah,
out there,
I
you
heard.
selling? Mike's selling
User for
tablet.
bee lure.
Huh?
User for bee lure.
I seen some
Swarm,
guys
for
too that
swarm lure.
they take them and put them all in a bottle with alcohol.
Yeah.
I've done that already. I've taken one of my queens that's gone pinch and just put her in a cage, stick it to a frame, put it up in a tree, come back a few hours later, and you got your bees to put in one of your styrofoam boxes.
Okay.
You shake those bees in, and there you go.
Yep.
Kathy it was 80 degrees down. Was that 80 degrees where you're at, Bill?
It was in the mid 70s where I was. We had some rain this afternoon.
She's on the other side of the mountain over there on 340.
Yeah, she's out on 33 out of
We've been
out
hitting
of
them.
Harrisonburg.
And she went through a couple hives and everything.
Yeah, her and JT went through their hives today, and they're not seeing any drone whatsoever down there.
Now that's not That's not the gal that was with you at the show, right?
No.
I didn't think so.
The funny thing about it, my dud queen that she's just brooding a little bit, did have 4 drone cells.
Really?
Like, yeah, just 4.
Just
Yeah.
4.
I've seen some drones here. Of course, I've got drone frames in my hives too, or not all of them. I've got the rest of them prepared to put in there.
Well, this was on a drone frame. She went over there and laid 4 cells right next to each other, and then went back to the other frames. But she's only got, I would say, between the 2 frames, she's got one side that would be full. Well, my other hive's got 3 or 4 or 5 frames, and she's not marked, which means they must have superseded their queen like in September last year.
Yeah, they probably, yeah. You're lucky she got mated.
Yeah, I mean a little bit, because I had my surgery on the 16th, and I had them all set up down in the bottom box, all marked before my surgery. And then I found out this one wasn't marked. So sometime the middle of September, they superseded or replaced the queen.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that.
So she's getting pinched later on,
Yeah.
the end of next month when I graft.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brad, you say 10? You made up 10 nukes today?
Yeah, I got someone coming tomorrow. One guy's getting 6 and another one's getting 4.
Didn't you have last week? You had another 10 going out the door?
Yeah. And week before that I had 5.
And you're doing some nuke sales there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, people are calling. I just it's between the time and then how much bees I want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Of course, in a month, I'm gonna be restocked with more bees again. So I don't know. It's a lot of bees.
Yeah.
Well, now you're running 8 frame. So
Some of them are. I mean, I do have a lot of 10 frame.
hey, Philip. Hey, there's Lee. Lee, I got a question for you. My outro video seems to be short, and then it comes, and then finally the StreamYard seems to shut down. I don't know. I got a thing here on StreamYard tonight. It says it's a icon there next to everybody's picture. It says present or invite, and I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I got it too. on mine. It was an update.
They must be messing with the darn program. My
Now, they did-
outro,
Well,
my
They did an
outro,
update.
outro was the right length. Now it seems to be short
Yeah.
and all by I don't know what 10 seconds or so, 15 seconds. Yeah, Lee, it's a new feature. I need you to make me the same outro but longer, maybe 15 or 20 seconds longer. So, are you working, Lee? You've been working nights for over a month straight. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm working a lot.
I don't know. Lee's been working 7 days a week. Unless he's must have been. I don't know whether Lee's in the crane right now operating or not. But anyway, so you're making what? How many nukes you figure you'll sell this year? 25, 30?
Well, after tomorrow will be 25, and I might get rid of another 10. I don't know.
And then
Depends how many honey hives I want to add extra. Like the ones I made the video on, I'm not pulling nukes out of those. Those are just my honey hives. But in my yard here at home, I got a bunch that I can make into honey hives because they are in double deeps and they're already starting to bring in clover. And going in there and find a queen out of those big hives is a headache.
I had my other chat that I was on, and he was talking about finding the queen. I mean, you don't find the queen. You go out there and you shake the darn, if you're pulling brood up out of there to make a demery or whatever, shake the darn bees off of there. You get them down to where you have a few workers on there.
Well, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I've never done one of those, but like that video that I made with those where I tip those hives. I think I'm gonna do some demarays on those because they're full of bees and they don't have swarm cells yet. They got dry cups in all of them, and those are all 10 frames.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to answer Lee's question. Hey, Lee, I know you sent me that outro. Whatever that outro is now, I don't know, extend it for another, what would you say, Bill? 15 or 20 seconds?
Yep.
I'd say another 20 seconds. They seem to be, it's the shutting down the stream seems to be longer taking nowadays.
Hey, DC, how are you tonight?
Hey, Brian, Castle Hives. Not 21 minutes.
Be right back. My keyboard died on me. I get new batteries.
Yeah. Hey, Ted Lundy, is that you, TJ? My buddy, the fiddle player. Ted Lundy, is that you, TJ? It is. TJ, how did you like playing on the Grand Ole Opry? Or have you done that? You haven't done that yet. You're going on the 4th of April, I think, and playing on the Grand Ole Opry, aren't you? That's my friend, the fiddle player for Danny Paisley.
Oh.
And I've been teaching him bees the last couple of years. He's going to be he'll be on the Opry next week, which will be April the 4th, I believe it is. He's on the Eastern Shore of Maryland.
You'll have to give Charlie a shout out, the myth, the legend.
Oh, it's on the 5th. All right, so that's going to be what? Saturday night. Saturday night on the Opry.
What channel is that on?
TJ, is there any way us seeing you on that live show or not? maybe doing Grand Ole Opry live on the internet or something. I don't know. That's his first time on the Opry, along with Danny. Danny's in the International Bluegrass and Music Association. He won Vocalist of the Year, I think, 3 times now.
Wow.
Mm. Mm. He said he'll find out for us. So I'm glad that you're on the show tonight, TJ. So, yep. Who's in the background?
Keyboard working, hit and replace the batteries.
Did you give her wormer medicine? Yeah. Okay. But yeah.
I was working on my garden today. Did my bees and I did my garden.
Yeah.
So, what else you going to do, Brad? Anything special?
Tomorrow, I'm gonna go get into those. If it's not raining, go get into those honey hives, and I might, like on some of them, pull some brood out to make some splits to make some new honey hives, and I might dim array some of them.
Okay, cool. So, what's nucs going down your way for? Are they $200 a head?
No, 165.
Really?
Is that all?
Mm-hmm. And then they asked me if I could go cheaper.
Wow.
Hey, Doug.
Now the commercial guys are a little bit higher, but they got so much traffic, that they can sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Doug.
I just put mine on Facebook and the market, and people are calling in. Now I got a lot of people calling. Now I even had to turn a lot of them down because I don't know. You can't guarantee nucs until you actually go in there and find the queen and see if she's laying good and stuff like that. I don't just count hives and say I'm guaranteed that, because just like what happened the other day, I picked up a frame with a queen on it, walked over to grab a box, and the queen fell in the grass and I lost her. So
that was one thing I noticed on your video there. And you threw that darn top box right into the grass instead of on top of a lid until you moved it over for the camera. I'm like, man, you could lose a queen that way.
And that's what he did. He lost the queen.
The grass sealed them in.
Yeah, sealed them in all right. They can escape. But yeah. I had that problem too myself, as far as you kind of, as I say, count your chickens before they hatch. And
yeah, I don't take no deposits. A lot of them call me and they say, "Hey, can I put a deposit down on?" No, sorry, I said I'll keep.
I never took any deposits, but I took orders, and sometimes I had to call them up right quick and say, "Hey, I can't fill your orders because I got a bunch of dead outs or hives that didn't meet my specs per se."
Yeah, I always tell them, like, just contact me in March and see what I got. Contact me in March over and over again. And I had this couple of guys, they called me in January. Man, can I get them early? Can I get them early? You know, no, you can. I don't know what you're talking about. And then
Yeah.
this one guy coming from Texas, he's coming tomorrow.
How
He
far are
talked to
you
me,
from Texas?
huh?
How far is Texas away from you?
He's about 3 hours away. That's what he said. He's like on the close to
You
the.
coming over here to get some nice bees instead of all them mean son of bitches over there.
That's what he said. He said he has he has some hives now, but he wants to get up to 15. And I said, well, why don't you split? He says, I don't want to split these suckers. Because he wanted to buy some queens too. I said, well, I don't just sell just my queens right now. I said, they too important for the nucs. You know, they're overwintered and they're good layers. I said, I'll sell some queens later. That's what I plan on doing later too, is selling queens. If I'm going to sell them real cheap, if they want to buy these queens that I'm making right now, I'm going to sell them, but I'm going to let them know that they're emergency queens. And I do have a guy that came over. I think I told you that he had 80 hives and he lost all his hives to being sprayed from corn. And he bought a nuke from me. And he says, if I can get some money to get, I'm gonna get some more from you because I really like the bees I got from you. He bought a couple of nukes from me. And I said, look, I said, I'm requeening, in June and July. If you want these queens, I'll give them to you. I said, if you can get you some bees together, because I said they're gonna be good layers. They just emergency queens, and I don't want to sell that next year. And he said, just call me up. So if he wants them, I'll give them to him.
Yeah, TJ, if you got a mean hive over there, I'll see if I can't. When I get to grafting, I'll get you a queen, and you can.
I sent text to all my guys for my nukes. A week, pushed it back a week. Told them because I can't draft right away.
But getting back, I forgot. I got off track. Getting back to the guy from Texas, he told me, he says, can I give you a call? Like if he says I'm a new beekeeper, he says, can I give you a call if I run into some problems and stuff? I said, sure. I said, I don't mind. Tell you, because he says these beekeepers around here, these old fellas, they won't tell you nothing. He says they won't give you no kind of help. I said, look, I said you can call me anytime. I didn't think he was going to take me.
You need to go subscribe to Sawmill Charlie's Bee thing and come on the chat.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, I didn't think he was going to take it so late. I said, you can call me anytime if you got a question about the bees. That sucker calls me every day just about. Like, good grief. He'll send me a message. Can you talk yet, sir? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Wow.
And he goes on and on and on. He starts talking about, because he installs windshields. He starts telling me about his windshields and stuff like that. I'm like, all right. I hope he ain't on here.
If he is, we'll find out tomorrow.
Well, sometimes you have to, say, look, I don't have time. I used to have my mentee that I had, and I don't know, just it wasn't the problem that he called me a lot or nothing like that, but it was always they're calling me and I'm in my bee yard and I'm trying to get stuff done. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? I'm in the bee yard. That's the same place where you need to be, in the bee yard, getting something done, and it's that kind of stuff. But, he doesn't do that much anymore because he knows what he's doing now.
Another thing was pretty cool. I saw two hives to a older, well, I say older, they might have been about 5 or 6 years older than me. They came there their first time, and they sent me a message, and it had a video tagged on it. And I looked, they had a YouTube channel, and they did a YouTube channel installing my bees. And so it was kind of neat, kind of seeing that, and they did almost opposite of everything I told them. But then this young guy came with his dad, and they bought two hives, and he makes YouTube videos. So I got to see, it's kind of neat seeing your bees being installed, in other people's videos, and he did a good job though doing his. But he does all kind of videos. You know, them kids, they can make some good videos. He goes like to cow ranches and stuff like that, make videos and farms and stuff.
Well, the other couple that was installing bees, was that the ones that were going to get stung?
Yeah, that's them.
Oh Lord,
That's them. Well, I told him, like I said, whenever you go install your nukes, I said, put the bees on top of the hive. I said, and because I said they might be angry, you know, going on a car ride. I said, open up the little doors, and I said, let them come out. They might ball out, they might come out or whatnot. Let them orientate. And I said, then you can go ahead and put them into the hives after, you know, hour or so. Well, they didn't. They just went straight into it and start putting them in. I told them, I said, when you're putting it in, remove your other frames, give you some room so that when you're putting it in, take from the outside first, out the box, so you don't hurt the queen if she's usually in the middle. Because I said I put my two food frames on the outside. Well, they didn't. They pulled from the center straight on up, straight on up out of there and put it in the box. I mean, they were doing everything opposite. Then when they went back to check for the queen, I said, wait at least a week before you go into them, because I said, being moved, all the stress, I said, you don't want them to kill your queen, you know, go, you know, right off the bat. I said, so once you install them, I said, leave them alone for about a week. I said, then you can go into them. Well, guess what? The next day they're making a video looking for the queen. And she's videoing standing in front of the hive. And she's wondering why the bees are around her when she's coming to, while she's videoing when they can't get into the hive.
Blocking the entrance.
Well, that's why I was watching. There was a live presentation. I think it was last weekend. I guess it may have been Sunday. It was Bees for Real. They've been on the chat here. They're down there, Lafitte, Louisiana. That's below Mardi Gras town, whatever that.
Lafayette? Yeah.
That's south of 30 miles south of New Orleans, I guess it is.
No, Lafayette is west of New Orleans.
Okay.
North, yeah, because New Orleans goes down kind of on the boot, and Lafayette is closer to
I don't
Texas.
know. All their houses around them they were up on stilts. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah, Lafayette is close to the Gulf. You know, if you look at Louisiana, coming from Texas, it's like this, and it dips down to go to New Orleans and stuff. Okay. So yeah, Lafayette is close to the Gulf.
And anyway, they were new beekeepers, and they were checking a 10 frame out, and what was it? I don't know. They were going through. They had a deep and a medium, and somehow the queen got up into the medium honey super, I think, and she had laid the brood up, and they were like acting like they were queenless, and they're looking at it, and luckily the wife was pretty sharp. Well, there's the queen who just come out of that there queen cell. You know, now what do we do with this virgin queen? I'm like, well, make a split. Well, we ain't got no more boxes. Well, do something, give it away or do something, you know, and all that kind of. But it was me and several other guys on there telling them what to do and trying to, you know, bring the thing over so we can look at it, you know, you know, you're 1,200 miles away and trying to tell them how to keep bees.
You know what you should have told Ted? He could move that hive right by his back door, and that'll calm him down.
Oh yeah, TJ. Nah.
Yeah,
they're pretty darn close to the back door now. I thought it was.
Oh, he's saying Lafitte.
Huh?
You talk about Russell. I didn't listen to you spell it all the way. It might be Lafitte you talking about instead of Lafayette.
I don't know. I wrote it down here. Lafitte.
Yeah, that's Lafitte.
Lafitte.
Okay, yeah. Lafayette has a Y in it.
that's it, Ted. Yep, put a dab of honey on your forehead every time you come in and out.
It says 30 miles south of New Orleans.
Yeah. Now that is, yeah.
Oh, they're way down there.
Oh yeah, that's way down there.
I've seen some pine trees or something in there. Or not pine trees, but coconut
Cypress
trees
trees,
or
cypress.
palm trees or something.
Trees.
Couldn't tell you. So, yeah, I can't pronounce all them French names. I can hardly pronounce English.
Mm.
But yeah, so like I say, I can't even read whatever you spelt there. I can't even figure that one. T chef fun chook. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what the heck that is.
I don't either.
Taravachuchi.
I think he
guess.
was having a stroke while he was typing on his keyboard.
Yeah. Or a key got hung up.
He got a spasm or something.
Now, Dinah,
Tell him spell it like it sounds. Not high.
Saskatchewan. I can read that Saskatchewan. I can figure that one out. And all that. So let's see. Hey, Matt.
Yeah, nothing else really new going on with me.
How's your knee doing, Tom?
It's doing good. I keep pushing it too much and it gets a little sore like today. But they said that would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget about it, and then I start carrying all these hive boxes and everything, and turning the dirt in the garden and all that with the shovel, and then I try to go up steps on the way home at dinner time, and I can't even hardly go up a pair of steps because it's all swollen. It's swollen right now, but it's doing good.
Can you tell when the rain's coming yet?
No, because we've been getting rain about every 3 days.
Eventually, you'll be able to tell when it's going to rain too.
All right. Yeah, but it's good enough that I forget about it and I do all my projects like I used to do it when I had a good knee. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
So, Bill, you got what? A couple more hive staying areas built or whatever?
Yep, we did that last Sunday. JT Barry came up and helped us put in 2 more rows, and I'm going to do a couple splits, and I got some more hives I'm going to bring up here from Edinburgh, and that'll fill those 2 rows up.
Yeah, Paul, you're right. That's exactly where those folks are from.
And once they're filled up, I'm going to put some individual stands on the east end of the rows. Just, nuke hives or nuke towers or something for those.
Right. Yeah. But
I'm interested to see tomorrow afternoon what they're doing as far as
I'm definitely
building up.
I haven't been into mine in any deep dive hives or anything like that, and I got to go and get another thing I got to do is fill up my honey tank. I got to make some honey too. It's been I guess the allergy season has started. People are coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just dumped a couple in my tank today for the same
Yeah.
reason.
I filled mine up about a week ago, so with my last bucket of honey.
Yeah, this is my last couple. Bottle them, and that's it. Till I pull some this summer.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing for me is I finally made a decision and raised my price up on the honey.
Yeah.
I've been at 10 for, I don't know, so many years, and everybody else is either 12 or 15. I figured since I don't think I could go from 10 to 15 right off the bat, maybe I'll hit everything up to $12. And if I have to, put like a little money box or something out there to make change.
I see Russell was asking what I was selling my nukes for. It's 165 with the Pro Nuke. I got them cheaper than I got them for like $9 at Nobby.
That's
What'd you
cheap
do?
for a nuke.
That was what, buying a pallet of them?
No, I bought 30 of them, and then I bought 20 of those. Those guys were selling those folding ones. You know
Yeah, easy.
Easy
Yeah.
yeah.
The Jester nukes.
Yeah, I bought
Yes, sir.
20. I bought a pack of 20 of those. They were selling for $9 a piece. So that's what I was looking at. I was looking on the internet tonight because I'm fixing to run out of boxes, and the cheapest I can find now is from Man Lake. They have the wax cardboard ones for $12.95 because all the Pro Nukes are $18 to $20
Yeah.
regular price.
I bought those Man Lake wax cardboard ones once, and I'll never buy them again.
Yep.
Hey, Joseph.
Well, you can't let them sit out. It's just they mostly just for putting your bees in and selling.
Yeah, that's about it.
They're not
Yeah.
they're not made for like raising a nuke in, like leaving it out in the yard.
Nope, they're
Well,
not.
Yeah, or to be reused hardly.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, even the Pro Nuke, I mean, that's not what they're transport boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
That's what
not
they are.
designed, you put a Pro Nuke out there and especially in the sun, it's going to cook that bee, cook them.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
Yeah, I had a
No.
few I used last year because I ran out of room. I used them for mating nukes, but I had to put a piece of plywood on top of them to shade them.
Yeah.
right. I do all my nukes in the shade. I put them all underneath my oak trees.
Yeah, I got my mating boxes out there. I'll put a board like a 1x12 piece of pine or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put them over top. If it's a real hot summer, I'll like put a roof over top of them basically. Hey, Lisa.
How many Pro Nukes you need, Brad?
Hmm?
How many Pro Nukes you need?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna,
25, 30.
after I go through my bid tomorrow, I'll see how many I'm gonna end up selling more compared to what I got left. I got like I think 11 of those like Jester boxes left.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven. And all. So,
And I still got my tree stump hive that overwintered. I still need to cut them out, but I really like that hive. I mean, it's the most gentle bees I've ever seen, and I didn't do anything to them, and they made it through winter. So they must have pretty good genetics.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going to wait till I think they're going to have swarm cells, and then cut them out. I'm going to wait till about the middle of April. I hope I can catch them before they swarm.
As far as selling nukes compared to doing honey, I much rather besides dealing with the public either way, either selling honey or selling nukes, as far as getting into the bees, I'd rather do nukes. It's to me, it's funner to go in there and early and look for the queens and put them together, see what they're doing, making new queens. I like doing that. I like making new queens.
Hey, Mark.
That the honey.
Hey, Mark.
I mean, I like making a lot of honey, but that honey gets heavy lifting.
I'm kind of getting more that way, Brad. I got all these honey hives, and I don't know. I'm thinking about just sell 50 nukes every year, 60 nukes.
I
don't
think
know.
I got it.
I tried that. I don't know. Maybe it was the way I did it. I could have do it in a better way. It's like you, Brad, talking about you promise all these people, and then you get out there and you find that you got a whole bunch of nukes that are dead, or they're not all that great, and then you can't supply what you promised. And I don't like doing business like that.
Well, that's what I mean. I took that hint from you when I started selling nukes, because when you had said that before about, so whenever I started advertising about that, people tried to call up and say, hey, put me down. I'm not like, no, I'm just letting you know I will be selling nukes in March, but I will not be giving any guarantees until I see what comes out of winter.
Yeah.
And it made it easier, because that way, you're not guaranteed.
Not easier, Brad, but less stressful.
Yeah, less stressful as far as,
Yeah.
And even the ones that call now, they say, hey, can you get me a nuke for the weekend? I'm like, let me see what I got after I sell these, and I'll let you know. I'm not guaranteeing you one. So I even tell them, don't pass up anything that you might can go get today and waiting on me. I don't want you to do that. If you can go get one now, go get it. And one guy I think he tried to slick me. He wanted 4 nukes. And I told him, I said, 165, which I thought was cheap. And he texted me back later. He says, he'd been bugging me for nukes. And I finally said, okay, yes, I got them. I'm going to put them together. You can come get them Saturday. Well, he calls me up or texts me 2 days before. Hey, there's another guy that says he can get me the nukes for 150. I said, okay, you want me to
go for it?
That's what I told him. I said, well, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and take you off the list then. Oh, no. I still want to get them from you.
Yeah, there you go.
He was trying to negotiate his price.
Yeah. He thought I was gonna, oh no, don't go somewhere else. No, sorry.
No, you can get them somewhere else cheaper. You go right ahead. I'll take you off my list.
I got good bees and good queens, and I make sure when I stick them in that box, they got good patterns. These commercial guys, because a lot of the people that come to me, they always say, hey, I got some from the commercial guy, and there was hardly any bees in the box and bad brood. That's because they're going in there and just doing that commercially. They get a bunch of guys going there and making up their nukes. They don't care what they stick in those boxes.
No.
They slamming, they doing 100 and 150 nukes a day.
Yep.
I go through each frame before I put it in a box and make sure, that they've got what they've got.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. How you doing, Steve?
Same deal, Brad. I have a lady that bought nukes from me the last 2 years. She loves my nukes, and she didn't say anything this year. And then she called me a few weeks ago, and she goes, Tom, you got any nukes? I said, well, I'm sold out. But I said, I'll let you know. I don't think I got any more that I can split out or anything like that, because this year has been really slow. But one customer called me up and canceled his one nuke. He decided not to get into beekeeping this year. He said too much is going on. So I said, well, I got one for you so far out of 2.
Yeah. But well, I mean, they were talking about the prices what Brad's charging. It depends on where you live. I mean, here
I'm 210.
I mean,
I charge 210.
Yeah, Brian is $200 in his area. It's $200 here. Some guys
200 here.
Some guys try to get a little bit more here than that. They think that quote overwintered, but see, that's the thing with Brad's. He's got the true overwintered queen.
Yeah.
Where she's never seen a honey flow yet, and she's ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
Yeah.
And where most people don't understand that. And where if you say, oh, I got it, all right, I'll tell you, I have an overwinter queen. Yeah, she overwintered all right, but she also made a honey crop for me last year. So she's half wore out. Because I watched that one video, Maryland State beekeepers had her zoomed in, and I don't know, she was kind of boring it, science lady out of Texas. And then I watched it again when I was having queen issues, and she made a statement that's, it's one of them things where they didn't say this is important. And she said after the first year, that queen drops 40% in their laying capacity. So what happens after the second year? Is it another 80%, or whatever? No wonder they.
I mean, I see it in all the ones, like the last couple of years when I started doing this, like the ones I missed. I can tell right off the bat when I open up the hive, why isn't it overflowing? And I start going through it, and then I see, still, like I said, still good little laying patterns, but smaller and then less.
I got a hive right now. It's like that. And she's a 24 queen. So she fizzled out after the first year,
Mm-hmm.
and then,
I would have looked at that my first years, and I'd have seen that queen with that nice little tight brood pattern and, 6 frames of brood in that double deep. And I said, man, she's doing great. But now I look at the one next to it that's new, and she's got 13 frames of brood or 10 frames of brood. Or, most of the double deeps that I pulled the nukes from had anywhere from 8 to 10 frames of brood in the boxes. So, I still got very well populated double deeps, that are making emergency queens right now.
Right.
And they're bringing in honey. There's so many bees still in there without a queen. They're bringing in clover. So they're and the new frames I put into, like the ones I did two weeks ago, the new frames I put in there to replace the 5 frames that I pulled out, they've already drawn the wax on them. And there's no eggs in them yet because the queens ain't there yet, but they're drawing the wax and they're putting nectar in them. So
you got definitely a nice flow down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever wanted to maximize my honey, I would just set my hives up to all be queenless. All my honey hives, and then have the whole another set of hives with queens, and just keep taking brood, take 2 brood out of each one of them, keep putting in every week, keep putting 2 frames of brood in.
Yep.
Those queenless hives, man.
Yeah. Thanks,
Aaron, the honey
for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Yeah, but a lot of people that make nukes, you get some honest people, and then you get some people that will just put the junkiest queens they've got in there just to get rid of them.
Well, that happened to me when I first started. I bought 2 nukes from a little guy, local. And when I got them home, they were infested with mites.
Yep.
And neither one of them survived the year.
Yep.
They such bad laying patterns. They
were sick when you got them.
Yeah, yep. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what was going on back then when I first started. So I put them in the box. Thought they was gonna take off, and never took off. They were dead before the end of the summer. I end up replacing them with 2 swarms that I caught.
Well, my first nuke, my first year, I bought a nuke from a local beekeeper and said it was his nuke. Well, when I got to it, you could get within 30 yards of it without 30 to 50 bees stinging you. And I found out, talking to the other beekeepers, that he drives down to Texas and picks up all these nukes for like $150, and he comes back up here and sells them for $200. I said, man, my first hive was a hot hive. That thing was, I'd pull in the driveway 50 yards away, and I couldn't even get out of the door. They'd be attacking the vehicle, my car. They were that nasty.
All right. Tiny Creek's got a question here. Got queens coming in Thursday. Should have put brood frames above a queen excluder tomorrow and split Thursday. Or should I wait until Thursday to put split above and wait 2 hours and split? If you put brood frames above a queen excluder like that, I mean, depending on how many hives you got, let's say you're going to do 10 hives like that. By the time you get to 10th hive and go back, those frames should be covered up with bees.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
say,
they
Bill?
should be.
I'd say within, let's just say 30 minutes, they should be pretty much covered up with of nurse bees.
And it all
Yeah.
depends too. Like when you're doing that, if you're gonna move the whole box, that's good. But let's say you're only gonna pull 5 frames out of there. It's always good to put a few more frames of brood up there. That way you can have some shaker bees to put also in your. That way you're not just getting the ones just on the brood frames.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do this same process with the queen excluder. Let's say the day before. It can be in the evening, evening hours ready, and stuff like that. And they'll get definitely good population by that time. But all that stuff. But yeah, you can do it either way, either
Yep.
same day or the day before.
Yep.
Right.
Or you can forego all that work and just pull them out and do a split right there.
As long as you can find the queen.
Yep.
Joey said the
Yeah.
answer is yes.
Well, find the queen, isolate her on one side of the box or something, and make her split.
Yep.
Mr. Ed does the easiest thing. That man never buys a queen, never grafts a queen. All his honey is made from supersedure queens.
And cut cells. Yeah.
Yeah. And he makes tons of honey, but every year he does the same thing. He uses that screen divider board, divides his boxes up, finds out which one his queen is in and moves his queen and leaves his supersedure cells there in the original spot and just leaves them alone. They either gonna make a queen or they not. He either comes back to them and they are dead out or they banging for making honey.
Yeah.
Because he don't mess with his bees hardly at all. That's about the most work he does is he
Well,
puts
they're all free bees for him. He gets all them free
Yeah,
swarms.
he gets all those free swarms and cutouts.
Yeah, just give a shout out to Hey Eddie. Hope and all.
like you seen his video today? Yeah, that's all him and Good Time Charlie were doing. They had a trailer load of boxes with drawn frames, and they were going move. Matter of fact, they're making another yard. They made another yard to where they were going to get all their splits from their screen divider boards and moving them.
I think he's running what he was up to around 300 hives or something like that, wasn't it?
No, they're trying to keep it to 150.
Okay.
That's what he said.
That's gonna be hard to do.
Yeah, but he keeps making splits.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, he makes a split, but your queen don't always come back and get mated. So, if you made 50 supersedure splits, what's the percentage of them coming back? So he don't even worry about those. He just considers them, they're dead outs. They didn't make a queen, and they just dwindle away, and he just picks up the boxes and whatnot. He don't go back and add another frame of brood and try to get them to make another. It's as far as from what I know from his videos, he just splits them and they either make a queen or they don't.
Yeah, but he's made videos where he goes in, lifts up the top box and cuts out swarm cells.
Yeah, when
he puts those swarm cells in some of those splits.
Yeah, when he catches them, but if he does his double screens before they make swarm cells, it don't happen. It's when he's late and they've already started swarm cells, then he does it that way.
Yeah.
But if he makes it before the time where he uses the double screen board, like this time around, none of the bees had made swarm cells yet. So he just put the double screen board in there and made them make super seeder cells.
Yeah, he doesn't treat his bees or nothing.
No, and he went to one yard where he had 10 or 12 hives, not one dead.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's like, and then he, like Joey said, he does have a lot of losses, but he does pretty good for not treating.
He says he gets around 20%. I think he's mentioned that 25%.
So Eddie,
And that's average. That's better than average.
yeah. So Eddie,
Yeah,
did the bees get inside your veil today? Is that what happened? Did you forget to use that zipper on the side and close it up?
I had
I
one
only wore a veil today. That was it. Shorts and t-shirt in a veil.
And Grant,
No stings. The bees were gentle today.
yeah.
81 degrees. First day above 70, 72 degrees or something like that. 70 degrees.
So that's GRANAD right here. Isn't that Jeremy out there in Texas?
Renato.
I know he used to be Queen Bees or Queen Bees Honey. He's rebuilding after selling things off. It's the same one. I think it is. These weren't all right. Eddie said it wasn't his bees. All right. Eddie, where are you located at? Out in Texas? Where the mean bees are?
Hey guys, I'm going to hop off.
You're gonna hop off?
Somebody had text earlier that the bees are not mean in Texas.
All right. Catch you guys later. I'll be on the chat in a little bit.
All right, Tom.
All right, Tom.
All right, everybody. There's another spot open. Of course, we have a total of 10 spots open. If anybody wants to jump in.
Yeah, come on in here, somebody.
He's down there next to you there, Brad.
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
Southeast Louisiana.
Southeast.
I don't know. You're what, north, aren't you?
I'm Central Louisiana.
Yeah, but the good thing is, Clay, she can only sting you once.
He's by Joey.
He's by Joe.
Joey down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a good phone call from Mark Miller today. I saw him on here earlier. I don't know if he's still on here or not.
It could be.
Mark, if you're on here, come on in here and tell that story you told me today.
All right, Randy. We'll catch you later. Manderville. Mandyville. I got to get a drink, guys. I'll be back.
So, Mark pulled a queen today, or yesterday, and on one of his hives that he's going to do drops. He pulled a queen on a hive he was going to drop cells in, and make a cell builder out of it. And he said he don't know. He called me. He said, I don't know what's wrong with these bees. He said, am I crazy? Have you ever seen this before? But he said, all of a sudden them bees got real mean when I pulled that queen out of there. And I've seen it before. And all I could do was laugh. I said, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, Mark. Because he said, my wife can't even go out in the yard. He said, turn the horse out. He said, they're all over the horse. They're all over the dogs. He said, they're all over everybody. He said, they done got mean. He said, I guess I'm going to have to move them to the back side of the 50 acres. So did you move them today, Mark? Yeah, he called me early this morning.
Yeah, that's pretty mean when they start
Yeah.
attacking the animals too.
Yeah. And they were upset. They were some upset bees. And I said, I've seen it once. And it is just, it's not pretty. And they
Sounds like we got a storm passing through right now.
yeah, I can see the rain falling through the window.
What's that?
I'm watching it rain out of Brad's window there.
I don't see no rain.
Got a little cluster passing over me right now.
Mark just got home, he said.
Yeah. Did you get your popcorn, Charlie?
No, I got some pretzels.
Yeah, I'll know tomorrow what my bees are doing. So
So Eddie, what happened? I mean, did the bees get inside the coat or something?
you had on a full suit.
And they got stung?
Yeah, if you call them, they might just replace it.
Yeah, but has it got a hole in it or something or what?
I don't know.
Hey, Sandy. I don't know. I've had them where there goes me again. There he is.
Hey y'all.
Hey,
Hey.
Joey.
Again, Joey.
No, what the deal is with that Guardian veil, their first version
Yeah.
had too much material on the back and it would lay down on your neck.
Ah.
And they have shortened it. Now it hangs down straight like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one just like his sitting up on my shelf. They replaced mine. It's tighter in the back now. It hangs straight.
It's the hat or the
It's a round veil.
The round veil.
round veil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me grab it.
Oh yeah.
See, it's like the same all the way around. Well, they took some of this material out here where it hangs better instead of sitting on your shoulder. But
Oh, good Lord.
That would lay on your neck.
Now I get it. Sandy to be it's Alicia. Okay. Because everybody it's because the way he's got his channel listed. Matt at Sandy Valley.
Yeah, everybody thinks he's Matt and Sandy.
Yeah, it's Alicia.
Yeah.
So, Joey, what's happening in your neck of the woods?
I've been busy in the bees. I got everything split that I can split. I just don't have a nectar flow coming in.
Really?
It's just a trickle.
You don't have any clover?
No, not by me. Now, one of my yards got clover by it. It's not doing too bad. But my big yard, there's just not enough coming in to take care of 20 plus hives.
That's what we got coming in right now is clover. Nothing else is coming in. It's clear too.
I can set a frame of honey out and they'll clean it up in about 30 minutes.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, see, I pulled some ugly looking frames today out, some that wouldn't wax good that they kind of messed up, and I was gonna take them, scrape them. Well, they had honey on them, and I just left them on my cart. They never touched them.
Wow.
So they pretty much occupy with something else right now.
Now, when you say you're talking about Dutch white clover?
Yeah, yeah, the yard clover, the white, not the red, the white.
Yeah.
Yeah. True clover honey is almost clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was shaking some frames to get some bees into the boxes, and it was coming out like water.
Yep. It's real thin and it's almost clear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, around here, I don't see the bees working it, even though it's there.
Oh, if you walk out in the yard, there's bees on all the clover.
Yeah.
Isn't there a different type of clover? They've changed the clover or something?
Yeah. It's Dutch white is what it is. That Dutch white clover, man, they tear it up.
So,
Clay had asked if I did a video on that veil. I did, and I think Mike Berry did one on it.
On what?
On that veil.
Oh, the veil. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was putting a couple of supers on some of the big hives, because I wanted to catch some of that clover, because we don't get very much clear honey down here.
that's Brian set up there in Ohio. Maple is just getting close to started. Man, he's behind compared to us. For me,
Yeah.
they've been blooming for a couple of weeks, I guess.
Our trees have been finished. They're full of leaves now.
We're getting a lot of little white flower around here. My app tells me that its generic name is false. I done forgot what I was about to say. The spice. I'll think of it in a minute. False garlic.
What's it called?
I never heard of it before. It says it's called false garlic.
Is that little, like, very thin, shafted white flower comes kind of tall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some of those too, but I don't see it comes out the same time as the clover, and they work the clover instead.
You kind of get confused with it until you actually look a little closer. It's taller than clover is. I've never seen a bee on it. I've been watching. Never seen one on it.
Same thing with all those yellow flowers. Then I call them bitter weeds. My whole bee yard right now is yellow from all those flowers, and they don't work it.
All right, Alicia, what's the punchline? Where's that here? We got David. If your soil pH tends towards neutral, bees will work the white cover. The same clover in soils where pH is on the low 60s will produce hardly any nectar. Okay.
Yeah, he's right.
So pH as neutral is that 7.4 versus I've heard for farming it's usually what 6.7 or something like that, Bill?
Yeah, it's for farming neutral, it runs between 6.6 to 6.9. So if you shoot for the middle of it, it's 6.75
See,
is what
answered
you
you,
shoot
Charlie.
for.
I have a house swarming party.
That's a good one.
Well, to get the pH up, you gotta add lime to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like hay fields, the sourer the hay, the more weeds it grows.
Right.
The sweeter the ground or normal pH, the cleaner the fields are and
Yep.
grow better. So
Yep. That's right.
David says 6.8 to 7.4.
Yeah. 7.4, 7.5 is a liquid.
Todd, I'll catch you later. Good night. I don't know what it is around here. It's in the sixes, I can tell you that.
Well, mine must be in the high 6s or 7 because they all over that clover.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Matt.
And just about not even a half a mile away from me, way less than that, there's a farmer that didn't plant any spring crop, and he's got about it must be 50 to 100 acres. It's all purple with dead nettle and stuff in it right now.
Yeah, that's some of that's happening around here. Hey, Rick, what's happening? Are you still down in Florida or are you back up to Kentucky with the bees? Of course, I don't know.
Blackberry's blooming a little bit around here.
Yeah, I seen they starting to put on flowers.
Yeah. Blackberry leaves are starting to come out up here.
One thing I haven't seen bloom yet around us is the privet.
Well, Thomas, that's what we do is, hey, or at least my son does it. So he does take soil samples and stuff like that. So still in Florida, just made a decent crop of orange blossom. All right.
I always wanted to taste that honey.
It's
Orange blossom.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's pretty good honey. It's pretty good honey.
what I found is you taste it and the aftertaste is that citric taste.
Oh, really?
Like in oranges, you
Mhm.
got that citric taste. That's what it tastes like. That's kind of like the aftertaste of it.
Next year, I'm gonna for Nobby, I'm gonna fix me up a whole bunch of small bottles to bring for that swap.
Mm.
Because the few bottles that I did get from various people this year, my wife loved it. She went crazy for all the different kind of honeys.
Well, that's what we hope to be when we have our No Life Beekeeper. Everybody will get to come early and we'll find a bigger place. And that's what I did was I give out little 8-ounce bear favors, as I
Mhm.
call it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that this year.
Tommy McCaffrey had brought some to a meeting, some different honeys from Florida. I think it was Tupelo, the orange blossom. Ain't it Tupelo from Florida too?
I think
It's
so.
from the panhandle of Florida.
Tupelo, the orange blossom, and there was something else. And I actually liked the orange blossom better than I did the Tupelo. Tupelo is like $2 more than the rest of them were, 2 or 3.
Yep.
How about that one, the sourwood that they grow in the mountains? I mean, they harvest in the mountains. Is that any good?
Oh yeah.
It tastes real good.
That's good honey.
I've never tasted it.
What is it?
It reminds me of
Sourwood.
sucker.
Sourwood?
It's good.
I bought some sourwood, but I'm not sure whether it's real sourwood or not.
There's
Where'd you
there's
get
a lot
it?
of there's a lot of stories behind all that.
Yeah.
You gotta it's very delicate to manage as far as when it's blooming and what else is blooming around. Depends if
Yeah.
the bees are in it or not.
If it's true sourwood honey, it will not crystallize.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's how you can tell the difference.
Rick's talking about he got orange
So
blossom.
how long should we wait before we eat it to see if it's true?
I'm not gonna wait. When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, when it's gone, it's gone. But no, true sourwood honey does not crystallize.
But I've heard that, Bob Benningham talk about this. Is you got the orange blossom, you got your tupelo, and then you got the palmetto, which is kind of like a reed-looking plant, I think.
Yeah.
And then you got, I thought it was gallberry. Maybe he's got it,
Yeah, he carries gallberry honey.
which is another type of honey down there.
Yep. That's specific to Georgia.
And then Rick, you said you were going to go down there this year, and I forget what the type of honey you were trying to get, but it was a bust, I think, because of either the storms or cold weather. I don't think it was cold weather. It must have been the storms. And I think, and that's been several months ago that when you just got down there, I think it was.
Oh yeah, look, the black locust. Have you ever tasted that? I heard that's good too.
That's
Yeah,
what
we get black locust honey here.
that's
Oh,
what I
really?
get. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But I kind of, it's kind of like all these different honeys. Like Lee talks about
Tallow.
tallow honey. And what's some other honeys down that way that you guys get?
We get tallow, privet.
Privet.
That's so too.
And I've tasted tallow that I've gotten from Mike Berry and Lee. And privet, isn't that supposed to be sweet honey? Real sweet?
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah.
Now, see, he
It's
likes
light.
tallow because it's more of a bitey taste. And I would rather have the privet.
Privet.
Or the-
Privet's thick, honey. It's thick. It's hard
Yeah.
to get out of the frames.
Hmm.
Isn't privet like isn't it almost as thick as molasses?
To me, it tastes like candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some locusts here where it was a year where I'll say it was primary locusts instead of poplar trees.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was coming out of the extractor, take a spoonful of that, and it was like tasting cotton candy. It was just that
Yep.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to have some buckwheat honey this year because I'm gonna plant about an acre of buckwheat.
You can have all the motor oil honey you need.
Yeah, I heard it's black.
It's
It-
black. And I'll
It's
tell you one thing,
it's a dark honey.
it's got the commonest taste you ever did taste too.
So it's one of those honeys you either love it or you hate it.
And Brian up there at Castle Hives, he loves buckwheat. I don't like it.
I've never tasted it either.
Oh, it's as black as burnt motor oil.
And
Actually, down here, the year we had that late freeze and didn't get any tallow and hardly any privet was some of our best tasting honey in this area.
Yeah, us too.
I would rather have less and have that flavor than I would twice as much tallow. It's just such a good flavor.
I don't know
Probably
what
never get it again because that combination would have to be perfect for the tallow to be on and that. And then all those other, like Mike Berry said, he thinks a lot of the natural nectars get passed over because the tallow is so heavy a flow.
Yeah.
It goes straight to it.
yeah,
It has such an aroma. You can just, when you walk by those trees, you can smell them.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm also going to plant about an acre and a half of sunflower. So they come out middle of June. So that'll be the last thing that they're on before I pull honey is sunflower.
Yeah.
You get honey from sunflower? I thought you just get pollen.
No, you can get nectar from them too. Depends on the sunflower that you raise.
well,
raise
that's
the
what,
one-
that's what Ian gets.
Yeah, if you raise the one for oil, it doesn't produce much nectar, it produces more pollen. But the giant one, the gray striped
Yeah.
seed, that produces a lot of nectar.
Oh, okay.
Well,
And
somebody was saying about I had a friend of mine's had some honey up here from Maryland, and it's got like the aftertaste is kind of like cough syrup or something.
What,
And what is that?
sunflower?
Is that cherry or
That's some kind of
yeah,
cherry.
that's
I
a
don't think I
cherry.
get-
it's sort of like a cough syrup taste to it?
Yeah, that's a cherry.
Cherry tree or something?
Yeah,
Like
wild cherry.
wild cherry tree?
Yeah.
Okay. I had some of it here, and I'm like, I don't think I could sell that stuff. It's got a sort of I don't know, sort of like a bitter taste, I guess you
Yeah,
call it.
that's what Bob Benny was talking about on one of his videos. He tries. to
Yeah,
get
I've
his
seen it
supers
on
off.
that. That's why it kind of keyed me
Yeah.
in.
He tries to get his supers off before that starts.
Yeah.
Now, Ron, that might be a red button.
Yeah, that's an early in the year honey.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any red bud around. I don't even know what a red bud looks like. You go out there towards Western Maryland, they have it. And a friend of mine would point it out to me.
Yeah, there's red bud all over the place here.
Well, Russell, all I can tell you is I got some of that from a friend of mine. I'm gonna feed it back to him. So he says he's got people that that was what I was getting at in his area. He says the people like the honey, and I think it's like everything.
Exactly.
It's if you're used to that type of honey in your area, it tastes good to you. And if you find something from another area that isn't similar in taste, then you won't like it, Yeah, JW, I think that's kind of the way this stuff tasted to me. It was kind of bitter cough syrup. That's got to be what this stuff is. Nightly.
Nightly.
Good night, Lee.
Lanternfly. I do have a bottle of lanternfly. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to take and get some of that. Well, Rick, it's good to hear from you and stopping in and stop back anytime you want. So, Bracken,
Hey, Bracken.
what's happening?
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going busy. You hear me?
Yeah.
Got a new computer?
I like the pictures of your house.
Oh yeah, saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming along. They're
Hey,
painting
at
the
least they got the
inside.
siding on it, and it's backfilled and rough graded.
What was that?
They've got the siding on it. It's backfilled and rough graded, right?
Yep, they're painting the interior. Yeah, it's going good. I bet we're moved in within a month. Nah, maybe a month and a half.
Yeah.
Cabinets are coming next week. Floor is next week. Yep, should be good.
Now, Bracken, I got a question for you, and I don't need to put you down or anything like that.
All right.
But how is it that you got some badass hives out there in California, and all the ones at home there look like crap.
Well, I didn't send my crappy ones to California.
Why not?
They won't let him.
You know, and they're all dead, half of them. It's like, man,
Yeah.
I'm like,
So-
where's all the bees at? They knew bees on them frames. They're terrible looking.
Yeah, they're pretty rough. I actually just took them into the orchards again. So my buddy's got an orchard. He's got probably I don't know how many acres they have actually. I need to look, but he's got apricots, peaches, sweet cherries, and pie cherries. And they're all about to bloom. The apricots are actually in bloom right now. I took my bees to the orchard last night. Everything that I had here, I put them in the orchard. So hopefully that'll give them a little bit of a boost. But yeah, my bees here are pretty shitty, not gonna lie. They're in rough shape.
Well,
And you got the video to prove it.
Yep. You can go check it out.
but now,
but-
now you're telling me. So what you're saying is your bees are back from California?
No, all the ones that I kept here,
Yeah.
I took to my
So the-
buddy's orchard.
Well, you didn't have no bees, what you see on the video. You only got 4 hives along the river, and you got 2 or 3 dead outs up alongside the mountainside there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I left you a message on one of them. It wasn't those bees' fault for a lot of your problems.
Oh no, it wasn't.
You starved them suckers out. That
Yeah,
was
so-
nothing on them frames.
But hear me. Okay, now we're gonna get into it. So half these bees I bought from a guy who sold them because he turned out allergic to them.
Uh-huh.
So I just bought them I bought the equipment is what I bought because I told them the same thing. I was like, I'm not buying dead bees. And so most of the bees that have been dead have been from him.
Oh.
But he didn't feed them heavy in the fall. He didn't treat them for mites. So
Oh.
I know it just sounds like excuses, but the ones that I raised are the ones that are doing semi-good.
Well, they're out
Yeah,
there on the almonds and stuff. You got to be the grade. You got to make grade and all. So they got to
and
be.
that's why
They got
I
to be
would
really
send-
good. You got to be really good bees to go out there.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna waste my time sending, a C colony. And I sent my A's and my B's, and then C's and stuff stayed. And
Right.
yeah, they didn't pan out too swell.
How many you got coming back?
I sent 36, and he's splitting them, so I'll have what's 36 times 2?
72.
Yeah. I'll be coming home with about 72.
Well, didn't he make a deal with him something about taking some of the splits on?
No, he shook the bees. He kept some of the bees for his queen production, and then he's actually making splits this weekend. Let's see, what's today? Friday? Yeah.
Mhm.
So tomorrow he's starting this weekend. He'll start the splits, and then I'm going to go down in 2 more weeks and pick them up.
I was about to say it shouldn't be long before you get them, huh?
Yeah, and things here, we're actually supposed to have another week of rain and snow. So I just noticed that some of the commercial guys in my area, they got their bees back, and but they're going to be feeding them. There's nothing blooming right now. There's very, very little, I should say. I mean, but with this next week of it being rainy and cold, that's going to shut things down again. So my buddy says, if you want, keep them here in California and let them, because he's got all sorts of stuff blooming. He's raising queens. He's already got mated queens. And so
Yeah.
I'm waiting to get a little bit closer. Wish you could see out the window, but hopefully the weather will pick up just a little bit better when I bring them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well,
says
How
Harris.
about your seed you planted? Did it start sprouting?
Oh, I haven't actually checked that for a little while. But
Well, it's
I
still
just planted
snowy
a
and cold.
what?
I say it's still snowy and cold. It ain't gonna do much in that kind of weather.
Yeah, we did have 3 or 4 days there that got into the 60s. Well, actually it hit 70s. But it's the night temperatures have been fairly cold. I heard Bill talking about how he was planting an acre of buckwheat. I got a video coming out Sunday, I think. But I went and bought 220 pounds of some seed, and I'm gonna plant. My neighbor's got a 15-acre field that he hasn't used it in quite a while. He's a full-time farmer, and it's just kind of a desolate corner that he just doesn't do a lot with it. But he told me this year if I wanted, I could plant a pollination mix in it. So I went to our local seed place, and I got, see if you guys have heard of any of these. Shoshone saffloin, hairy vetch, black oil sunflower, buckwheat, phacelia, yellow sweet clover, small burnet, and crimson clover.
Yeah, you'll like the crimson clover and the yellow sweet clover.
Yeah, that yellow sweet clover grows on the ditch banks around here.
And that there crimson clover looks like little Christmas trees.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they really like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm gonna plant. Yeah, the hairy vetch is good. It's like a legume, like alfalfa.
Well, what the guy doesn't have any water to those fields or something, or
He does, but he uses his water elsewhere. He's an onion farmer, and he focuses pretty good on his onions, and that chunk of land down there he doesn't.
oh, he popped out.
Yeah. He's gone.
He'll be back.
Yep.
There it is. All right.
I don't know what happened.
Pull the end.
Pulled what?
Pull the end.
It just dropped.
Just disappeared.
Yeah.
So anyway, he does onions and
Yeah. So it's just a chunk of land that he just doesn't utilize. I know that kind of sounds silly, 15 acres that somebody doesn't really care about, but he cares about it. But it's
that's a pretty good sized piece of ground.
yeah. I think he runs. I bet he's close to. He's got to be over 800 or 900 acres.
Now, when he does 800 or 900 acres out there, does he actually water flood that?
Yeah, and in fact, he just got, so I don't know, in some of my videos, you've seen our irrigation pipe where we just pull the little thing now.
Yeah.
He's got like 400 or 500 acres in automatic valves. He just pushes a button on his phone and it opens the valve, and he can set them so they'll surge. So he can water, like they'll surge for 2 hours and then go to the next one and then surge for 2 hours and then go back to the first one. And yeah, he's got quite the setup. He's a dang good farmer. His fields and tractors and everything are always immaculate and look good. And
there's bees for real. I know it's Danielle's the wife. I don't know what the husband's first name is. Hey, TJ, past your bedtime. I'll check back in next week. All right, PJ. And text me if I can see you guys on the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, TJ, I'm on Monday nights, bees all day at 8:00. If you want to come in. Charlie's on there too.
Yeah, I'm on there too. Bees all day, TJ.
Well, I'm going to head on out, guys. See y'all later.
All right, Brad.
All right, Brad.
Let me know how many of those. He's gone.
I got to go too. I got a video to finish.
Video.
I'll see y'all later.
See you later, Joey.
Ran everyone off.
Ugh.
And it's lunchbox. Okay, lunchbox.
Is it 2 hour? Are you guys at 10 o'clock right now?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's getting harder to get in here on time. It's still not dark here.
Really?
Yeah, just a
So
little
you're
bit.
what, 3 hours behind us?
2.
2?
Yeah,
So it's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock here. But it's up Moore's Homestead.
So you're getting the house built and you got your bees out in California, and
Yeah.
farming ain't really doing much right now for you out there, it sounds like to me.
No, we're pretty much, like I said, I'm going to plant this field with some pollination, pollination mix.
But
Yeah,
you're still getting some snow out there. So when does spring kind of hit for you?
First day of spring was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I know, but I mean, what in reality for you?
It depends. Let's see, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we were getting snow in May.
Really?
Yeah.
You're up in that higher elevation like that?
Well, it's not super high. We're only at 4.5, maybe 4,700 feet. I think Glade Sessions, I think he's higher than us out there. But he's
Glade?
more east.
He's south of you, isn't he?
Yeah, he's southeast by quite a ways.
Yeah,
He's
you're a lot higher than Charlie, because Charlie's almost sea level, and I'm at like 1,100 feet.
11. Yeah, I think Brigham City's at 45, and then where I'm at right now, I think it's like 47.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting ready to start doing spring tillage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a little bit of it. It just got to where it was just starting to dry out, and now it's going to rain again. So
yeah, the ground is just starting to get unfrozen here.
Sweet. When are you going to plant your buckwheat?
Well, that's a good question, Bracken. I should have already had some of it in the ground, but I'm a little bit behind. So
it grows so fast, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do tillage. Got my phone. Let me look at my phone.
I see my son on the road today, and he works for another farmer during the day, and he had I don't know, probably a 30-foot disc out there ready to do some discing. He had probably an R such and such John Deere tractor,
Yeah.
Great big damn thing.
Probably an R8.
Yeah, something like that.
So I'm probably going to do tillage the first Sunday in April, the 6th. And then I'll get it in the ground probably sometime that week, one evening that week.
Oh yeah, that'll give you plenty of time.
Yeah. And then I'll wait till a couple weeks later and plant sunflowers.
Are you gonna just let it go to seed and just keep
the buckwheat?
Yeah.
No, what I'll do is I'll come through and I'll mow it down, and then I'll come back with a disc and disc it under, so it'll come back in the fall.
Not going to combine it, huh?
Nope. Not enough to worry about.
Yeah.
What do you do with sunflowers?
I'll harvest those.
How you do that?
The way I was told to harvest them is once the petals dry up, you come through and you cut the head off with a machete and you put the head onto the stalk. And it's about 2 weeks. There should be dry enough to pull off of the stalk. And you throw them in the back of your pickup, and I'll take them up to the tractor shed, lay a tarp on the floor, and just start rubbing seeds out of the heads onto
Now
the tarp.
they were planting them up here, and they were a big tourist attraction.
Oh yeah.
And then they go in there at the combine. Now I know the one guy who's a big farmer. He would buy a corn. It's kind of like a corn head for those big things, and then pick them that way. The problem he had was you put them in a a 10-wheel or a grain truck and tractor trailer, and because of them points like that, them suckers will get stuck. They won't flow like corn or wheat or anything like that. They've kind of got out of them.
Yeah, they really don't flow like soybean do.
And they could take them to certain granaries up the road. They're doing what do you call it, bird feed and stuff like that.
Because the gray striped ones that I'm going to grow, they use them. They're edible. They're edibles. So, and you can also resell them for seed. But the oils, like you bought, Bracken, use them in bird seed.
Yeah.
Or they crush them and do sunflower oil.
There's a good idea for you from
With them.
Doug. How about borage? That's what somebody planted over in England, and man, the bees were just all over it over there.
I've never heard of borage. What is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what that is.
It's like a little green plant, and that their Black Mountain honey or whatever.
Yeah, he grows it.
They moved their bees just for that field.
Yeah, I know.
And man, they just made all kinds of honey out of it.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. Huh. Yeah, it looks like it'd be.
Oh wow, it looks like dead nut. Is what it looks like.
Looks like maybe good cow feed.
Huh. Yeah, it's a weed.
Huh?
It's a weed.
Borages?
Yeah. It's native to America. What are the benefits of it? Blood purification. It's used to increase urine flow, prevent inflammation of the lungs. It's used as a sedative and to promote sweating.
You got to get that stuff out of your system. Go eat a bunch of forage.
Yeah. How do you take care of it? Regular watering. No, it ain't going to work here. I'm in a drought already. We're in a minor drought right now.
We're
in a drought too. Hey, James. Good to see you. Jump on in here if you would. Give me an update. I know that things are not looking great for you up there in Canada. Up there in British Columbia, I guess it is. Or not British Columbia, but
isn't it all the same? Just north of us.
Yeah.
Isn't it all
north of us?
It's just Canada.
Yeah.
Well, he's out there next to the Rockies.
Anything past Idaho's Canada.
Well, come on in, James. I haven't seen you for a while. I know I've seen that one little short that you put out there. That's terrible. And all. But it's always good to have somebody. I know anybody can get it, can get over it. I know you can. That's for sure. Oh, anyway. So it's borage is more of a herb.
Yeah, it's an herb weed. It won't work here. I can tell you that right now. Too much water.
It needs a lot of water.
Yeah.
Well, England has a lot of water over there. I guess that's why it works well. over
Yeah.
there.
It would work for DC out there on the West Coast. You
Yeah.
got a lot of water.
It would. So
All right, I gotta jump off. So good to see you for a minute, you guys.
Yeah.
yeah, Bracken, no problem.
Okay.
Very
keep
cool.
I'll keep listening. So
Yep.
luckily I got hearing aids, so I get to listen.
I was going to say,
Aye.
I had to come on because BC's a whole nother province away.
All the same.
No, that's like saying Texas is right next to Louisiana.
It is. It's just right down over there.
Yeah.
He's in Alberta. That's it, right?
I am in Alberta, correct?
Alberta, the province of Alberta.
So,
James, I know you lost pretty much everything.
oh no, I got one.
You got one hive left.
The cup is always half full, Charlie.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
and all that, but you were saying possibly the weather conditions of drought conditions that you had. That was it 2 years ago that you had the fire and all the smoke, or was that this past year?
that was 2 years ago. Mind you, it was pretty bad up here last year too. So, but oh yeah, no, we'll get it figured out 100% for sure. Not a doubt in my mind. So, and we're already working on rebuild plans. So, we're not. I'm nowhere as close to being in finished here yet. So.
Oh, I didn't think you were. I mean, how are you gonna have to buy bees, or?
I'm gonna have to find some bees. Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
actually, I've had a few people reach out to me, so I do have some options that we're working on here already. So that's great that people reach out. They see somebody in a position like this, and people are willing to help. It's that I say this lots. This YouTube community and this beekeeping community is incredible. So,
yeah, I mean, Brad had issues last year, and people reached out. I know you did, and other folks in his immediate area. I think the way I got it, helped. You gave him some nucs and stuff, and I seen on a repeat of Bob's channel that he has 75 or 80 some hives that is out from the winter shed, I think. And so that's better than 3.
Oh, it's 70 times, 75 or 78 times better than 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a good one.
Huh?
I say I got a good one. Okay.
Well, I've seen on that one show that you said you had one of your breeder queens. That was a breeder queen that made it through.
Correct. Yeah.
And all of that. So, it just, you wonder whether it is the weather, and what happened last year about the nectar flow and things like that. Or
we're getting it narrowed down. I'm honing radiant on it there, so it's coming pretty quick. So we'll get her figured, and we'll share with everybody once we learn for sure and we have the data, and we'll share with everybody. So we did everything's put back here probably about a week. So we ended up getting a big dump of snow. We didn't get nearly as much as what they forecasted, but we probably got, I'm going to say 3 or 4 inches of snow out there here in the last day. So temperature dropped back down to about minus 10 degrees Celsius. So now by mid next week, it's supposed to be in the double digits above freezing. So it's supposed to be, 10 to 12 degrees above freezing. So our year will come here pretty quick.
So for you, snow is the water, is the rain that I guess is going to keep the ground moist to be able to, for stuff to grow and stuff.
Absolutely. We can use the moisture for sure. So
yeah, and we're low in water here too. Things are dry. We're supposed to get some rain next week, but we can, use quite a bit of rain here too if everything's on the dry. We actually have a no burn policy right now.
oh yeah.
In fact, of course, I did see some smutty burning something yesterday, I guess it was.
Yeah. Well, it was still hot and dry up here last year. I mean, something that maybe a lot of people online here are familiar with. There's a place just south of me here, Jasper National Park. So, half of that town burnt to the ground last year, as sad as that is. So we're, we've had a couple of years of really hot, dry weather up here. So it's not the best, but
yeah. So you're back from Bahamas, something like that?
Grenada.
Grenada?
I was down in Grenada there for a few weeks. Yeah, I've been back here for, how long have we been back? A month? Yeah, about a month. Yeah, we've been back for about a month now. So
Is the boat still down there?
the boat is, yep. So it's on we got it on a mooring, hurricane safe mooring ball and everything down there. So it's all put away, ready if the weather decides to hit it. So and we've left it fully equipped, ready to go. So if anything like that was to come, as long as I can get down there quick enough, it's ready to basically set sail within probably, I'm going to say half hour, 45 minutes. So I'd be able to have the sails up and be gone.
I don't know if you can answer that question or not from Minnesota,
Sawmill
Mike.
Charlie, what would James have done different? Better feeding, standardization, mite treatment? I can't tell you. So, and part of the reason I can't tell you is I don't know yet. So lots of people are asking what happened. I do not know 100% for sure. But what I am doing is I made a list of everything that I did different the past year, everything that I'm suspecting, everything that it could have been, and I'm just slowly crossing them off one at a time. And when I get them all crossed off one at a time, there will only be a couple, maybe one.
Well, I can say that I don't think it's a mite problem. I know you treat, and you're really good at that, and you treat things that most people aren't able to do. Less plant food gas. I don't know what that means. I guess that's nectar.
Well, once again, I don't know, and I don't want to speculate. I don't want to send any false information or anything out there. But once we get everything figured out and we get it all hammered down, then we'll share it. Yeah,
Lunchbox. We'll catch y'all later. Mike's just saying he's kidding, or I don't know, he's talking to somebody else. But yeah, you're right. It's too far out. I know that you had mentioned that you were trying to do a spreadsheet of some sort to kind of put things together to kind of see if there's any correlations or whatever.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So, well, as you guys know, I'm very, very much data driven, right? So, don't like to jump to conclusions. I'll go through it and we'll, stick to the facts, stick to the science, stick to what I know, and then kind of go from there. So one thing I can tell everybody, I changed quite a few things last year. We did quite a few things different last year. I will be backing up my program by about 2 years and going back to managing to where I was successful. Now, whether that I'll be successful in the future or not, that we have to wait and see. But like I said, I did do a few different things last year, of which may or may not have contributed. I don't know, but
Well, that was like Brad was talking about, where he went back to what he did his first year and where he had more success and stuff. But there's one thing that I've kind of noticed is that everybody up there in your country, everything's Aprivar, and you guys are switching over. Like Brad went from Aprivar to Formic, homemade Formic type of thing. Now he already knows he has to tweak it better. Instead of putting pads on every 7 days. Yeah, I think he said that he probably this year he'll probably put new pads on about every 4 days, a little closer together and better mite control. And I think maybe some of that is mite related problems that he had because of Formic not really doing the job. And I was tested this year through the National Honeybee Survey, and they tested me on the 6th week of Aprivar being in the hive, and it wasn't doing the job at all. And it was like, 10 mites per 300 bees.
ooh, that's pretty high.
Yeah, it's real high.
Yep.
And it's actually the way they did it in the paperwork this year. When I did it, it was 3.5 mites per 100 bees. So if you do it 3 times like that, that's 10, almost 11 mites after a 6-week treatment. And we could actually see it in the brood when we were pulling sampling, especially in the drone brood. You could see a lot of mites in there. Now, 3 years prior to that, when I participated it, I can't say nothing about Aprivar at the time, but she came and did the sampling after Formic Pro, formic acid, and I had a results was my mite load was a 0.2, so less than 1%, and so that there's some bit of a comparison there, and
So it's interesting. So Alan and I were talking about this the other night. We all talk about the results that we're seeing if you use a product. You mentioned Aprivar, Charlie.
yeah.
Has anybody ever actually tested the Aprivar itself or the strips themselves? And there's lots of things that people have seen in the last little bit, and I'm not saying it is, but where due to, call it COVID, call it inflation, call it whatever it is, are they impregnating those plastic strips with the same amount of product now as they did in the past? Or now you read the label, the label says it is, but or has that shrunk a little bit to save a penny here or a penny there? And I don't know. I've never looked at it, but it is something that would be interesting to look and do an
you might.
test.
It hasn't really come out into the public that much, but it's on their website. They've got Aprivar 2.0 out now. And nobody's really talking about it that much. But I read a little bit on the website, and it didn't come out and say, hey, this is what we changed. The only thing they changed was the way they, instead of putting a nail through the hole or a toothpick, they got wings on there so it'll support itself off the frames.
But
They've lowered the dosage on it.
They lowered the dosage on it.
Yes, they did. They lowered the dosage on it. And about 7 or 8 years ago, the USDA tested Aprivar, Formic Pro, and oxalic acid to see which one was the most effective. Aprivar lost hands down.
I'm not talking about efficacy. I'm not talking about efficiency. I'm talking about the percentage of impregnation of the product into the strips now, as let's say, in the past? Is it the same? Has that been reduced? You see it all the time in the markets. The juice container looks the same. It's got the same label on it, but it's 10% smaller for the same price.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but being that they have to have an EPA label on it, and it has to be an accurate dosage on that label per the EPA, or they're going to face huge fines. They
But
really can't do that.
Well, has it been tested?
That I can't answer.
And that's my question, right?
Yeah.
Has it?
Now, Roy here says the plastic grade could be different that affects absorption.
Absolutely. This is
Yep.
what I'm getting at, right? So they may treat it with maybe the same, but does it hold it the same? Does it disperse the same? Is it the same volume, or is it a percentage per weight? Or these games are played all the time, and I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it isn't, but it's something. As a beekeeper, we never look at that. We look at what the results are. We don't look about, at the rest of it. So just it's how my brain works. So I mean,
Yeah.
when I used Apivar worked well for me, right? And I think when Apivar first came out, it worked well for a lot of people. So it could be a tolerance, it could be product, it could be disbursement, it could be, do you know what I mean? It may just plain and simply no longer be effective. That happens, that's evolution. That's just, I mean, but as a beekeeper, I know I've never looked at it. All I looked at is, what are my results?
Yeah. Who knows? Time will tell. I mean, there's sort of a Apivar, I think, in my mind, has gotten tarnished reputation now, even though they're coming out with something new or different. It's like, okay, now you gotta.
Well,
You,
a
you-
manufacturer makes a lemon, and everybody gets the sour taste in their mouth. They're not going to go back and buy that lemon again.
that's what I'm getting at.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had issues with mites in the spring. Last year, I think last year and the year before, I shook every one of my hives, big fat zeros. Now, I did have a few mite bombs last fall. Now, I'd shake one half of my pallet. It would shake, a 1, maybe a 2. I'd shake the other side of the pallet, get a nothing, go somewhere else in the apiary, do another test, and end up like Charlie did there, 10 mites in there or something like that. Like it was just all over the map at the end of the year. So now, one of the things that I didn't do last year, and partly because I was growing, I didn't test every hive. I took samples, 40 hives on an apiary. I would test 15 of them, something like that. I didn't test them all. That was a mistake, but anyways, it's a learning curve, I'll learn from it.
Yep.
I've had a lot of people ask, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I have an incredible opportunity in front of me. By doing all of this, I am going to learn more from this mistake, and I'm going to become a much, much better beekeeper, much, much more knowledgeable beekeeper, because the opportunity that's in front of me. That's the way I'm looking at this.
Yeah. Well, that's about all you can do, James.
Yep.
Well, guys, it's 10:30, and I got to get up and go to work tomorrow and whatever else. And
Yeah, I got to get up and go to PA in the morning.
I'm going to go up there and get some boxes, huh?
Yeah.
I'm going to try really hard and sleep in, but that doesn't seem to last much past about 4:30, 5 o'clock for me.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for everybody coming in tonight, and we'll see you next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope everybody has a good bee week and take advantage of if you got warm weather, get into your bees and check them and see what's happening and all that stuff. So until next time, we will see you Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bees All Day on Bill's channel.
Yeah, y'all, there's 92 of you in here. There's only 5 likes. So hit that like button before you leave.
Yep. So.
Well, I'm going to build a snowman tomorrow, maybe.
You have fun building that snowman tomorrow.
All right. I'm going to
Have
go
a good
ahead.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, guys.